Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States on Monday, January 20th. Trump, who previously served as the 45th President from 2017 to 2021, is the second president in American history to serve two non-consecutive terms, and he is now the first person with a felony conviction to assume the presidency. On Friday, organizers announced that the inauguration would be moved indoors to the United States Capitol Rotunda because of forecasts of extreme cold in Washington, D.C. The Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies issued over 220,000 tickets for the swearing-in ceremony, which ordinarily would take place outside the U.S. Capitol building. Trump's second swearing-in comes after the previous transition of power in 2020 was marked by tension after Trump refused to concede, and a mob of his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Trump himself broke a longtime tradition by skipping President Joe Biden's inauguration that year. The transition of power this time around has been more peaceful, and both Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris attended Trump's inauguration on Monday. Inauguration Day includes various ceremonies, events, and performances beyond just the swearing-in ceremony. Trump gives more unfiltered remarks to crowd at Capitol. Speaking to a crowd of his supporters gathered at the U.S. Capitol, Trump said that Vance and First Lady Melania Trump convinced him to temper his inaugural address. He said he wanted to use his speech to talk about the January 6 rioters, many of whom he has vowed to pardon, and the pardons that Biden issued earlier in the day to members of the House committee that investigated the attack, including former GOP Rep. Liz Cheney. "Why are we doing this? Why are we trying to help a guy like Milley?" he said, referring to retired General Mark Milley, who also received a preemptive pardon from Biden earlier in the day. "Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic. I think this is a better speech than the one I made upstairs," Trump said. Chantel Lee. Eric Trump, "The whole country is behind my father." Speaking to Time at the Capitol after the swearing-in, Donald Trump's son Eric Trump says, "The whole country is behind my father." He says today feels different than Inauguration Day in 2017 because people know exactly what he's going to do, and he won so decisively. People wanted him back in power. They want America back. They want the movement to be successful, and everybody's on board. You saw people right behind me who weren't there 8 years ago, and now everybody's there. They want the best country, and they know the last 4 years have been a disaster. Trump vows to usher in Golden Age of America. In his inaugural address, Trump declared that the Golden Age of America begins right now, vowing that he will, very simply, put America first. He painted America as a floundering and declining nation, but outlined his goal of creating a greater, stronger country, and claimed that his administration will rebuild the nation that we love. Trump said the government has been facing a crisis of trust, accusing a radical and corrupt establishment of extracting power and wealth from our citizens, while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. And throughout his speech, he repeated the anti-immigrant rhetoric that peppered his campaign. The government fails to protect our magnificent law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world, Trump said. Trump said that he has been tested and challenged more than any president in the country's roughly 250-year history, and referenced the various criminal cases against him and the attempt on his life at a Pennsylvania rally in July 2024. "Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life," Trump said. "Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear, but I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again." Chantel Lee. In speech, Trump previews first actions as president. In his first speech as the 47th president, Trump announced the first raft of actions he plans to take, including declaring a national emergency at the country's southern border. He said all illegal entry will be immediately halted, and that his administration will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. Trump also vowed to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy and send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. He announced another order he will sign Monday will designate cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Trump said he will direct all the members of the cabinet to marshal the best powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. Trump vowed to bring back free speech to America by signing an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship. Trump took direct aim at social policies, promising to end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. Trump declared, "It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female." He went on to say that he would reinstate service members who were unjustly expelled from the military for objecting to the COVID-19 vaccine with full back pay. He committed to signing an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. Chantal Lee. Donald Trump sworn in as 47th President. Donald Trump has taken the oath of office and been sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Trump was sworn in at the U.S. Capitol by Chief Justice of the United States John Roberts. Roberts also administered the oath of office to Trump in 2017. J.D. Vance has been sworn in as Vice President. He was sworn in at the U.S. Capitol by Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who was nominated to the court by Trump during the incoming president's first term. Chantal Lee. Biden pardoned several members of his family, likely his last move as president. In what is likely his last act as president, Biden pardoned several members of his family, including James B. Biden, Sarah Jones Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John T. Owens, and Francis W. Biden. The White House announced the news minutes before Trump was set to take the oath of office. "My family has been subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats, motivated solely by a desire to hurt me, the worst kind of partisan politics. Unfortunately, I have no reason to believe these attacks will end," Biden said in a statement. He emphasized that issuing these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that they engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt. For any offense, powerful tech CEOs have prime rotunda spots. Some of the most powerful tech CEOs are in the Capitol Rotunda for Trump's inauguration, including Bezos, Pichai, Elon Musk of Tesla, Zuckerberg, Cook, and Shouzi Chu of TikTok. Many top executives in the tech industry have had private sit-downs with Trump after his victory. Musk became one of Trump's closest allies in this lead-up to the 2024 election and has been tapped to head up a new Department of Government of Efficiency in Trump's administration. Chu has thanked the incoming president for working with TikTok in the face of the impending ban on the app in the U.S. Chantal Lee and Nick Popley. How can I watch the inauguration? Major network and cable news television outlets will be airing the inauguration, including CNN, CBS News, NBC News, and ABC News. You can watch many of these networks on streaming platforms, such as Hulu plus Live TV. You can also watch a live stream of the ceremony on cspan.org. Chantal Lee, Capitol Rotunda seating chart. There are about 600 seats in the Capitol Rotunda, much fewer than previously allocated before weather moved the ceremony inside. As a result, there has been an intense jockeying for seats. While an official seating chart has not been circulated, here is what Time can see inside. Most seats are reserved for members of Congress. Leadership has reserved seats near the front, while rank-and-file members can sit in open seats towards the back. In the rotunda, the Supreme Court justices are seated directly to the right of the podium. To their right will be the former First Families, from left to right. First Lady Jill Biden, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, 42nd President Bill Clinton, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, 43rd President George W. Bush, former First Lady Laura Bush, and 44th President Barack Obama. Conservative media personalities Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham have prominent seats in the second row in front of the podium, next to Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's children, and in front of Russell Vought, Trump's nominee for White House Budget Director and Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's nominee for the Director of National Intelligence. Behind them, in the third row, is Argentina's President Javier Milei and his wife, who is seated next to Italy PM Giorgia Meloni and China Vice President Han Zheng. Behind them is Musk. There are additional overflow seats in Emancipation Hall, where some guests will be watching live.